Marriage can be recognized by a state, an organization, a religious authority, a tribe or group, a local community, or peers. Civil marriage is a marriage without religious content carried out by a government institution in accordance with marriage laws of the jurisdiction and recognized as creating the rights and obligations intrinsic to matrimony. Marriages can be performed in a secular civil ceremony or in a religious setting via a wedding ceremony. The act of marriage usually creates normative or legal obligations between the individuals involved and any offspring they may produce. In terms of legal recognition, most sovereign states and other jurisdictions limit marriage to opposite-sex couples, and a diminishing number of these permit polygyny, child marriages, and forced marriages. Over the 20th century, a growing number of countries and other jurisdictions have lifted bans on and have established legal recognition for interracial marriage, interfaith marriage, and most lately, same-sex marriage. Some cultures allow the dissolution of marriage through divorce or annulment. In some areas, child marriages and polygamy may occur in spite of national laws against the practice. Since the late 20th century, major social changes in Western countries have led to changes in the demographics of marriage. With the age of first marriage increasing, fewer people marrying and more couples choosing to cohabit rather than marry. For example, the number of marriages in Europe decreased by 30% from 1975 to 2005. Historically, in most cultures, married women had very few rights of their own, being considered, along with the family's children, the property of the husband. As such, they could not own or inherit property or represent themselves legally. In Europe, the United States, and other places in the developed world, beginning in the late 19th century and lasting through the 21st century, marriage has undergone gradual legal changes aimed at improving the rights of the wife. These changes included giving wives legal identities of their own, abolishing the right of husbands to physically discipline their wives, and giving wives property rights, liberalizing divorce laws, providing wives with reproductive rights of their own, and requiring a wife consent when sexual relations occur. These changes have occurred primarily in Western countries. In the 21st century, there continue to be controversies regarding the legal status of married women, legal acceptance or leniency towards violence within marriage, especially sexual violence. Traditional marriage customs such as dowry and bride price, forced marriage, marriageable age, and criminalization of consensual behavior such as premarital and extramarital sex. And with this prologue, I welcome you to this informative and exciting program on the Backstage Story show on Nollywood Radio France. This is Bliss Talk. On Bliss Talk, we will discuss the various facets of marriage and how to maintain an endless marital bliss. And with me on Bliss Talk on the Backstage Story show on Nollywood Radio France, I have a very special guest who knows by experience and by learning the various challenges facing marriage and how to manage or conquer them. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this short break.
Baby, oh. No be so.
Walk into the room, perfect yet unaware. You cut me off my guard, baby. Oh, oh. So sad, cause I know this feeling way I get for you, baby. No, baby, did all my best to make you see that my love for you, girl, is heavenly. Baby, no be lie, oh, yeah. Baby, no be lie, but it's so not fair. My feelings for you, girl, I know feet tell. You they play me 10-10. Baby, why be say you gotta do me so? Baby, why be say you gotta play me so? You they pay me, oh, 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 oh. I'm gonna get you no try. Just to run around on fireflies. But me, when you see, I know they carry last. No, they carry last. See, they pay me, oh, 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 oh. I'm gonna you no try. The way you just to run around on fireflies. But me, when you see, I know they carry last. No, they carry last. Hey, it gets us to be for this love, a blessing, of course, a sorrow, a joy. Maybe you didn't switch your body to drive me insane. The way you front your body, they busting my brain, no. You stab me from behind, no. And you mash up my mind, no. The one's not saying now, oh, go, my, you gotta use up. See, I cannot take it no more. This pain is getting too much. I know why, I know if you get over this feeling, baby. I'm on there, you don't try. The way you just run around on fireflies. But me, when you see, I know they carry last. Know they carry last. See, they pay me, oh. Don't try. The way you just run around on fireflies. But me, when you see, I know they carry last. Know they carry last.
My heart is bleeding, girl, I'm not sure. If I can take this feeling anymore. This is still Bliss Talk on the Backstage Story show on Nollywood Radio France, and it promises to be very exciting, very informative, and we intend to keep your marital bliss, to rekindle the fire of that marital union that started when you took the marital vows. And with me on this show is Dr. Mrs. Tonia Smart. Dr. Mrs. Tonia Smart will be in the position to introduce herself. Good afternoon, or good morning, or let's say good day to everyone. Good
Hi,
day.
everybody. How are you?
Very well, all right.
Thank you.
So, Tonia, who is Tonia Smart?
Well, Tonia Smart is a simple lady, forward-looking, multi-talented, a good marriage counselor, a mother, a wife, and a friend.
All right. And then from your resume, I discovered that you have a whole great resume. You studied chemistry,
Yes.
and now you're a marriage counselor, and then you have a lot of experience in insurance, and you had a BA in management. Wow, it's a splendid. So, as a chemist, what motivated you into marriage counseling?
Well, as a chemist, I didn't practice chemistry, even though I have a master's in analytical chemistry. But I think the main focus is using my skills and the knowledge gained, to be forward-looking. Because from chemistry, I did go on to read insurance and qualified as a professional, as a fellow of the Insurance Institute of Nigeria. And I found myself again in the pension industry. I took up fellowship of the pension in 2008. And then, of course, I did an MBA to get a management skills at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. My first and second degrees in chemistry were from the University of Lagos. And I wasn't satisfied with the knowledge, so I decided to take up a doctorate in counseling psychology. And that is why today I'm a full-fledged marriage counselor.
Wow. It's a splendid resume. And on Bliss Talk, you know this is a special person. She's gifted. She's multi-talented. She's multifaceted. And in terms of marriage counseling, how long have you been in this business?
I've been in marriage counseling for the past 6.5 years now.
Okay,
since
so
2007.
So right now you are applying your knowledge and your experience in chemistry to marriage. Is that what you want to say?
Definitely, because chemistry is all about composition. What chemicals are you putting together so that you don't blow up the lab? So what people are you putting together with the same mindset to come as a union, as husband and wife, and then of course keeping the relationship going?
That analogy is a very great one. A chemist, mixing chemicals. Right now she wants to start mixing people, making sure that you mix well so that there is no negative reaction that could cause explosion.
That's right.
All right, now over the years, what challenges or what basic challenge would you say is common as a marriage counselor?
Well, for the men, the first thing I would say is infidelity. And for the women, I would say is poor homekeeping. And for both parties, I would say the element of trust hasn't been as would be expected.
All right. With your resume as an insurance personnel, you did a contributory pension scheme, and then as a marketing person, how do you manage the home front and your career as a marriage counselor?
Well, first and foremost, I married my friend, which is very key. So I wear several caps. If I'm home, then I'm the wife, I'm the mother, I'm the friend. If I'm at work, then I'm doing my job. And of course, in every other area I find myself. So I have different caps for each role or responsibilities that I need to take up at any point in time.
Wow. All right. So you wear different caps for different seasons, just like an actor. So when you're on a different set, then you have to change your mood to fit into that set.
Yeah, the act people will say you are in Act 1, Scene 1, Act 2, Scene 2, and it's the whole of all the acts and the scenes that makes up the final show that is produced. So that's the same thing, the same analogy we're applying to marriage.
And you're able to cope with the stress. You're able to shed off the stress at work and then get home and balance up without the stress.
Well, you just try and balance as much as you can, but it's nothing easy. Or nothing good comes easy. So you try and put a lot of balance where you feel, because the balance depends on what, end of the line that you are, whether you are the finishing, you're at the middle, or you're just a starter, for each stage. Just like a race, for instance, if the athlete starts a race, if it's a dash, then you need to put in more energy. If it's a middle distance like 400, 800, for the first lap for the 800, you would not put in so much, but for the last laps, for the last 200 meters, you need to put a dash. But if you're running a 1,500 meters race, then you're going to start slow and steady, because that's the only way you're going to win the race. So it's the same thing too in marriage.
All right, I've been speaking with Dr. Mrs. Tonia Smart on Bliss Talk on the Backstage Story show. We will continue from here after this break.
Heart is bleeding, girl, I'm not sure if I can take this feeling anymore. Hey, Maka, why I have to let you go? I cannot take this love anymore. You see, true love is hard to find. Now I believe that love is blind. Now so many times you done break my heart, you done make me cry. I don't wonder why. I gave you my heart, my body and soul, but girl, you threw them away. I treasure you as my silver and gold, but girl, you they take me for away.
I know one conny love.
You don't take me.
I know one conny love. I say bye bye baby. Bye bye baby. I say bye bye baby. I got to make a find now. See they play me just a run around. I say bye bye
Pull up and down like
SCGX Productions.
This is still Bliss Talk on the Backstage Story show on Nollywood Radio France. Now, let me start by asking you, because a lot of people start things like this, despite your background, they start things like this because probably they saw some lapses in probably their parents, or maybe they saw a challenged friend and they felt, wow, I could start helping people to resolve crisis in the marriage. Did you see anything in your parents, or did you see any challenge in any family? What really spurred you into becoming a marriage counselor?
Well, my parents were married for 25 years before my mom passed on in her early 40s. And the marriage was very blissful, blessed with 7 of us that she had. But I've looked at the society now and found out that the rate of divorce, the rate of separation is so high. There's no much tolerance anymore. It's like a marriage of convenience. And now you're seeing marriages more like a civil partnership where you just cohabit, and the few people who want to get into marriage, the minute there is a little bit of challenge, they're ready to jump out. So that's wanting to stay married. And if care is not taken, we're not going to see people being married for 20, 25 years. That would be like, wow, a lifetime. And I've been married for 2 decades plus, and I'm enjoying every day.
So you are going to be sharing a lot of tips on how you kept this bliss going.
Definitely.
All right. Now, we're in the course of these subsequent episodes of this program, because you are going to be our main guest on this show, we need to give our audience a preamble. Now, first, in the area of dating, just give us a little insight into what dating is and what the listening audience should expect in terms of dating and pre-marriage union. That's what we call it, pre-marriage union, dating.
Well, first of all, we need to be clear that dating is different from courtship, and most of the time it's used interchangeably. When you meet a person for the first time and you're getting to know that person, that is dating. When you begin to like the person, the temperaments, the skills, and the things that you want in a partner, and you feel that this relationship is set for stage 2, then that is courtship. Okay.
I want you to stop right there.
Thank you.
It's an appetizer. I don't want you to blow all to let the cat out of the bag. Yeah. Now, apart from dating, well, you're also going to be talking about the choice of a partner. What major factors? I don't want you to go into details. I need you to give the listening audience an appetizer on what they should expect. I want people to be eager to want to listen to every episode of this program. Now, choice of a partner, apart from dating, since you said dating is different from courtship.
Right.
Now, what are the main factors that determine how to choose a partner in marriage?
Well, first you need to choose a partner that you are temperamentally compatible. That is big, that is massive, which means you need to look at your temperament. What is it in you and what is it in the other party that makes, the two of you spark? Because that spark has to be there. And if that spark is there, then you need to also maintain it for the marriage to keep, igniting all the time. So it's very important that in choosing your partner, you need to look at what you're bringing and what your partner is bringing and what are your expectations.
All right. Some school of thought believe that marriage is like a jigsaw puzzle. One rough part of one person is going to be enmeshed in the groove of the other, and then they form a complete picture. Do you believe in that school of thought?
Definitely, because no two individuals are the same. Even twins are not the same. So it's finding your own right partner, your own right person. That's how the jigsaw now, forms to get the full picture. So you need to put everything together to have the final picture in the jigsaw puzzle.
All right. We'll also be talking about keys to success in marriage. Those keys, just mention those keys. Don't talk in details about them. What keys? What are the major keys to success in marriage?
The first is love, and then trust, finance, and of course, keeping the home front. Wow.
Love, trust, finance, and keeping the home front. Watch out for these various episodes on Bliss Talk, on the Backstage Story show on Nollywood Radio France. Don't go anywhere. We still have quite a few things that you need to know about Dr. Mrs. Tonia Smart before we end this show.
Try to do my best, try to figure who you really are. Baby, I don't know what you really want. Baby, you don't know just what you mean to me. Try to understand you, but it's really hard. Cause there's nothing you can say. We're like water and flames, and we can't see eye to eye on anything. Like water and flames, and there's nothing to say, and we can't see eye to eye on anything. To say those words, heaven knows I would have let it go. But when you left, it felt like hell on earth. Or did it feel like me in paradise? Cause there's nothing you can say. We're like water and flames, and we can't see eye to eye on anything. Like water and flames, and there's nothing to say, and we can't see eye to eye on anything. Maybe I should have loved you a little bit better. Oh, maybe it's all my fault that I couldn't love you. I can't live it on my own. It's so clear now, babe, we shouldn't be so out the door, baby, please. It's a long way out and there's no coming back. So I'm saying, cause there's nothing you can say. We're like water and flames, and we can't see eye to eye on anything. Like water and flames, and there's nothing to say, and we can't see eye to eye on anything.
This is still Bliss Talk on the Backstage Story show. Now, Tonia, financial matters in marriage, joint accounts and single accounts. What's your take about it?
Well, that's one question I've been asked severally by married and would-be couples. And my explanation is simply what works best for you. Because marriage, you need to first of all build the trust. You need to know each person's spending pattern. Well, if you decided on which part you want, it's based on trust. So that will determine your spending pattern, whether one party is a spendthrift or the other is not, and all of that. So it's a gradual thing. It's not something that is started the first day. Okay. So single accounts, yes, and when the trust is built, then you can think of having a joint account.
Now, there's this particular topic that even the religious institutions shy away from. It's courtship and sex. The churches and other religious institutions seem to avoid talking about this and leave the job to either the home front and marriage counselors. What do you have to say about this?
Well, first, courtship is necessary. You need to know the other person before you say, I do. And most of the time, if the courtship is not well balanced, that's why you see that the marriages don't last for more than 6 months, 1 year or 2 years. And sex is something that the church is now talking about, because I'm a church counselor as well. And a lot of people are suffering in their marriages for this singular act. And so sex is something that should be done only in marriage. So then you need to know how to do it the right way to enjoy it. All
right. This is Bliss Talk on the Backstage Story show on Nollywood Radio France, where I've been able to tell you the various aspects of the subsequent episodes that we will be talking about on this show. And to expound on most of these topics is Dr. Mrs. Tonia Smart. She is a chemist, she is an insurance personnel, and she is a good confidant in marriage counseling. So you can talk to her later on any issue that is bothering you in your marriage. All we are after is keeping your marital bliss alive. We want you to have an endless marital bliss, and that's what we'll be talking about. Now, in marriage, communication. A lot of people, a lot of people get married, and at the end of the day, there is no communication. What's the key role, or what's the basic function of communication in marriage?
Well, communication is very key. It's in fact something that is the life wire, if you permit me to say that, because you must communicate with your spouse. And there's so much in terms of media now you can use, so you don't even need to wait until you see your spouse physically. You can call, you can send SMSs, you can go BB and all of that. So as long as there is constant communication, then you are speaking with your spouse. Right. And in communicating, you communicate not just some things, but everything. The good, when you're happy, and the times that you are not so happy, because your spouse needs to know when you're hurting as well.
All right. Now, generally, and particularly in this part of the world, in Africa, we have male chauvinism. In some parts of the world, there's a balance. The wife and the husband, they have equal rights. But in a culture like ours, in Africa, there's male chauvinism, where we believe that it's a male-dominated society and the male's authority stands. Male chauvinism and submission in marriage. How do we reach a confluence?
Well, there's a very good balance, because it's a man's world, whether we like it or not. And talk about all the women. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
All right.
Talk about all the women, liberation and all of that. Yes, we're not even under any bondage in the first place, so we're not even talking about liberation.
Okay.
So yes,
so
men,
it's not even necessary for that women
it's
liberation.
not necessary, because even when you look at the cultures back, mothers and our grandmothers and our great grandmothers got things done, by submission, and that's why it's very key nowadays. That element of submission has eroded, because people are now saying, I'm equal to the man. Yes, you're equal to the man. Yes, you're on the same intellectual level and all of that. But the fact remains, the man is the head of the home. And the way you can get a man to do the things you want him to do is very simple. And we'll be looking at all of that when we talk about the issue of love and submission in marriage.
All right, it's going to be a very adventurous moment for us on Bliss Talk. Don't go anywhere. Let's take this music shock break, and I'll be right back. Let's take this break from Nicole, Pain Me.
Heart is bleeding, girl, I'm not sure if I can take this feeling anymore. Hey, Maka, why I have to let you go? I cannot take this love anymore. You see, true love is hard to find. Now I believe that love is blind. Now so many times you done break my heart, you done make me cry. I don't wonder why. I gave you my heart, my body and soul, but girl, you threw them away. Yeah. I treasure you as my silver and gold, but girl, you they take me from away.
I know one conny love.
You don't take me.
I know one conny love. I say bye bye baby.
All right, this is still Bliss Talk on the Backstage Story show. I'm really excited, and I'm sure listeners in diaspora are also eager to know what Bliss Talk is all about. Bliss Talk is a program that will ensure that you maintain your endless marital bliss, that will either rekindle the fire of your union so that you can come back to life and enjoy the romance, the sensational and emotional connectivity between you and your spouse, and to also help you resolve some of those differences and those challenges you've been encountering in your relationship. So right now on Bliss Talk, Tonia, I want you to give what do you have for your audience in diaspora? What exactly do you want them to expect from you?
Well, expect the best and let the questions keep flowing, because like I said, each individual has his or her own strengths, and we want feedback from the program so that we can specifically address areas that people would want more information about.
All right, can we have your social media contacts and your phone numbers? You have them?
Well, we are on email. Okay. You can email tonia.smart@yorkcityltd.com. Okay. And you can call on 0816 654 6231. That's 234 for Nigeria.
Okay. You have to take that number again.
It's 234 816 654 6231.
And then your email?
Email is tonia.smart@yorkcityltd.com.
All right, so you've heard it from her. And until we meet again, I want to say you need to stay glued to this program, and you need to be informed. Do not break that marriage. You can make your marriage work. And on this program, we'll also be talking about divorce. And from your experience as a marriage counselor, what is the major cause of divorce?
Incompatibility.
Okay.
And for me, it varies from she's not able to cook, he's not faithful to me, or she doesn't treat my siblings well, or he doesn't have any regards for me, and all of that. So there's so many, reasons why people have divorced and remarried.
There's also the issue of in-laws.
Definitely. And more like mother-in-laws. That's what we get to hear every time. But they're father-in-laws too.
that can be saucy. All right, this is Bliss Talk on the Backstage Story Show on Nollywood Radio France. And on this note, I would like to say thank you for listening in, and join us on the same exciting episode of Bliss Talk on the Backstage Story Show. Same time, same channel, Nollywood Radio France. My name is Demola Sanyaolu, and as usual, keep well, do well, and stay atop your game.